let me share with you about this whole issue of being mindful. This is one of my favorite examples, saying, is this glass full, or is there still some place left, or is it, kind of empty, and whatever. And invariably, when I ask this question with a glass held, saying that, is this a full glass? Is this something empty? Is there some, stuff happening? I always get the answer from all audiences saying, this is half full, this is kind of full. And that's the answer that we get. Because we're all trained at this point of time to answer this question this way, saying that, yeah, it's kind of full, and, a little more and it's going to get full up, and, that's what life is all about. So it's kind of full, and we're doing extremely well in that. Now, here is my thought to all of you. We're trained to say that it is half full or kind of full. That's what we're trained to do. Okay, that is what is the politically correct answer in life. But if I were to seriously say, Shiv, come on, seriously, I'm sure you're going to come back and say, but Ram, actually in my life, I've got this problem, and I've got that problem, and I've got this monkey, and I've got that monkey, and the creditors are there, and payments are not coming in, but then we're trained to say that it is kind of full. But we actually think half empty. Every one of us, and this is something which is a behavioral problem that a lot of people have, that each of us is trained to think half empty, but say half full. And that really is the tragedy of the times that we are stuck in right now. That we think half empty. Our whole thought process is half empty. But, for instance, if you ask anybody, how's life? The immediate answer, very good. I'm doing very well. But the problem is not that. The problem is that they're thinking completely different. So one of the things that we need to start doing to be mindful, to cultivate a situation of mindfulness, is to do what I call living in the now. It's extremely important for us to start living in the now today. Because the kind of, the pause button that has been hit in our life is, to my mind, a God-given pause button. Because this is something that can really, really help us do a lot more. So let me share with you 5 or 6 things that I've been doing in the last couple of weeks, and what I would like to recommend to each one of you. And then let's try and see if we can build on this particular narrative of living in the now. The first thing is this whole issue of acceptance. I believe that the greatest gift that you can give yourself at this point of time is acceptance. If you can turn around and say that, look, here is an issue that we've got. Okay? Here is something that is happening in my life at this point of time. Because even now I find that there is a lot of people who are living in denial. And it is this denial that is really, really causing all the trouble that we seem to be having at this point of time. So if we can get out of that denial basis, and if we can start looking at saying, can we accept where we are at this point of time? That we have an issue, we have a challenge, we have a problem, and can we actually figure out what are we going to do? So if we don't accept that here is, a challenge, then you're not really going to be able to move forward. Let me tell you something interesting. The world has changed, and irreversibly changed. Beyond everything that you hear in your WhatsApp groups, beyond everything that you see on your television screens right now, the world that we live in has completely changed. And what is going to happen in this new world order is that you're going to have what I call a 20-30-30-20 phenomenon. What does it mean? 20% of the world are going to be completely recalibrating their life. The balanced 20% of the world is just going to behave as if nothing has happened. And life is going to go on just as it is. It is the middle 30-30 that really is crucial for all of us. So whether it is our employees, whether it is our customers, whether it is our suppliers, whether it is our vendors, all of these people are going to go through this 20-30-30-20 cycle. Our challenge as business leaders is to try and figure out what are we going to be doing with the 30 and 30 in the middle. We may be in the 20, the first 20, who I call are the eager beavers. We may be able to recognize the laggards because they will keep getting highlighted. I mean, if you're based in Bangalore right now, unfortunately, in one particular locality in Bangalore, there seems to be a lot of stress even right now. And there's a lot of social stress that is happening in that particular locality. So this would be the laggards, which is the balanced 20%. But the 60%, which is the solid middle, the 30% who I call the early adopters and the 30% who are the late adopters, it is this 60% that is going to either swing a new order or is going to defeat a new order that is going to happen. That is something that will be happening. So at this point of time, the greatest gift that you can give yourself is this, is the gift of acceptance, is to turn around and say, my life has changed. It isn't going to be the same anymore. And the faster we accept this at a personal level, at a family level, at a social level, at a business level, at a communication level, life is going to be faster. You know, the turnaround is going to happen much, much more earlier for you. The second, I believe, is this. This is a great time for each one of us to do what I call as a strength audit. You have to focus on what are your strengths. What are the strengths of the family? What are the strengths of your employees? What are the strengths of your business? What are the strengths? See, all around us, there is enough and more of depression, of people who are depressed, of people who are possibly living in denial, of people who are living in the past. This is a great time for each of us individually to do what I call a strength audit. So here is a task that I'd like you to do right now. Can each of us, if you have a piece of paper or if you've got a mobile or whatever, why would you not want to write down saying, these are the 3 strengths that I have. These are the 3 strengths that my employees have at this point of time. Go ahead. Why don't we just do this exercise as I talk? Because I'm a great believer in this entire principle of action learning rather than just, talking. So if you can write down on a piece of paper or on your mobile or wherever, that these are the 3 strengths that I have as an individual, and these are the 3 strengths that my people have, my employees have, that are fantastic strengths because I can build on these strengths when this entire lockdown episode is going to end. So if you can put down, what are your strengths? That would be interesting for all of us. So can I ask my friend Sunil to share what he is writing as my strength? Sunil, if you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Morning, sir.
Sunil, if you can tell us what you do and what are your strengths?
We have a good team. We will rebuild again. And it's not for us. Whole world is happening. Why we want to worry? It's as flows, we have to flow. We have to face the situation. We have to flow.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks, Sunil. Who else? Natasha, would you like to share, please?
Sure. I think one of the biggest strengths that we have is that our team is very agile and they're very proactive. So we're taking it, one day at a time, but we haven't stopped because, things haven't been going our way. We're just trying to make do with what we have.
All right. Thanks, Natasha. That's a great share. Sudhir? Sudhir or Vivek, Sudhir, go ahead, please.
Okay, the three strengths that I have is patience, integrity, and focus. Whereas the three strengths that I see in my team, one is loyalty, second is enthusiasm, and the third is dedication.
Fantastic. Interesting. Super. Anybody else would like to share one or two and then we can move on? Yeah, Shiv, go ahead. Yeah, Vivek, go ahead.
Yeah, Vivek, please.
Yeah, from the business perspective, Ram, what strengths that I have as a person is technical know-how, stamina, strength to weather the storms that we have seen ups and downs in the past 5 decades, an ability to generate loyalty and trust amongst all the stakeholders,
Fantastic.
and ability to judge amongst all the stakeholders. That is from our side. And I echo what Sudhir says. We have a very loyal and dedicated staff. Okay,
Fantastic.
that's for quite some time. So that is our strength, and we are constantly innovating in our sphere of this thing. Thanks to the input from some of our technical members.
All right.
About strength. Yeah. We have a strong management structure. Thanks to my two co-directors, Dayanand Kamath, whom you know, and Sudhir.
Fantastic. Very nice.
Yeah.
Shiv?
Yeah, my personal strengths are strength to adjust and bear changes, strength to move ahead with purpose, and strength of communication and expression. These are my strengths. And for my employees, it is the strength of experience and loyal employees, strength of hard work, and the last is strength of product development and experimenting.
Very nice. Anurup?
So my three strengths, I would say, is strength to change, then strength to introspect of what I need to do, and the third one I would say is strength of dedication and integrity.
Very nice. Last, let me ask Ananta, who's raised his hand. Ananta?
Yeah, funnily, I find my age is my strength. I am now crossed 50. The big ticket expenses of life, especially the apartment, is taken care. So yeah, I have daughter's marriage I'm sure is going to change in terms of expense. So if I can just manage the operational expense, I think I don't have any big ticket items to worry about. That I believe is my strength. It will reduce my worries, number one. Number two, for years, probably my middle class upbringing, not upper class upbringing, I could always live within my means. Though I have resources, I never indulged in expenses. That I think is going to be a big strength, and that I will urge all the others also to make that their strength.
Very nice. Very nice. Can I request Arun Menon?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I would rate my three strengths as I'm good in oral and written communication, and I have empathy with my team. And my third is I'm strong on ethics and integrity. And my team I think I have a great team who's really loyal. We are technically very sound, and we have good product development skills.
Very nice. Thank you, Arun. Super. So can I request you guys to do one thing? I mean, we've got a couple of days left, in this entire situation. Would you like to use this opportunity to call up each of your team members and do a strength audit with them? Or at least your key team members and do a strength audit with them, saying that, I think these are your strengths, my friend. So if supposing you were to call me and say, hey, Ram, you're part of my team. Ram Seshu, I think, your strengths are one is communication, thinking, etc., etc. What do you think are your strengths? So if you can use this opportunity to actually do a live strength audit with your key members of your team, don't you think that's a great way to get them to also become more mindful of the strengths that they have and build on the strengths of the company that some of you mentioned. And therefore, you're getting everybody to live in the now, because once this whole issue is going to move on, we will need those strengths from that the people have. Okay, I believe that today is the greatest opportunity, Dave, for every one of us. But we need to take it one bite at a time. It's very, very important that we figure out what are the opportunities that are available. But let's not overextend ourselves. Let's not try and do too many things at the same time. It's not going to work. But if you can take it one bite at a time, just one small thing today, I think we've got something that we can start building on very, very well. So I believe that if you were to put down saying that here are the 5 things or the 6 things that I need to do, but then focus on the one at any given point of time, I think we've got a great thing going. The next thing I'd like to tell you is this. Eat the frog. Close out on that unpleasant pending task that has been pending for a long, long, long time. That unpleasant conversation that you need to have with someone, that unpleasant decision that you need to take, that that unpleasant challenge that you need to face. Eat the frog today. Take it on. Get it out of your system. Because once you eat the frog, there is nothing that can be more unpleasant. So whether it is a employee that needs to be counseled, whether it is a vendor that needs to be counseled, whether it is a supplier that needs a renegotiation, whether it is a customer that needs to eat the frog. Don't hesitate. So if you want to live in the now and not keep looking beyond your shoulder all the time, then you need to develop the ability to eat the frog. You need to figure out a way of saying, here is something that is not working in my life. I need to figure this out. And I need to eat the frog today. Because if I can eat the frog today, that will unlock a lot of my mind space for me to figure out what else I can do in life. So eat the frog. It's that difficult frog. It's been pending for some time. You've always been postponing this for a long time. Today is the day when you should eat that frog. There is something that I call the greatness grid. I've been fortunate in the sense that I've met a lot of people who have achieved a fair amount of greatness in their life. And my definition of greatness is that people who've achieved something and are very happy and comfortable with what they've achieved. To my mind, that is a great guy. Whenever I've asked these people, what is it that you do on a regular basis in your life? I was shocked when they told me that they have a list of things that they've come up with which they stop doing on a regular basis. So if you don't stop doing some stuff in life, you're not going to have the time to focus on the opportunities that are available in life. So here again is a list that you need to make. What is it that I need to stop doing from today? So let me take a pause at this point of time and ask you to do this again. What are 2 or 3 things that you want to stop doing from right now? Okay, I'll tell you what I have stopped doing. I have stopped checking WhatsApp on a continuous basis. I find it a complete waste of time, and I'm now trying to declutter life by getting out of the zillion groups that I'm part of. And I'm adding to eating the frog because I just need to take a decision and say, I know people are going to be upset that I'm leaving some of those groups, but that's the frog I'm eating, and I'm saying, enough is enough. Let me declutter my life. I'm not doing a WhatsApp detox, but I'm at least going to get out of all that. So can you put down, can I request you all to write down 1 or 2 things that you want to stop doing from today? Just one thing that you believe you need to stop doing from today. And that would be a great thing if you stop doing it to become more mindful and live in the now. And let me ask my friend Suhas to do a share now. I'll ask Suhas to share. Suhas?
Yes, sir. I think one thing that comes on top for me is spending too much time on the OTT, channels.
Okay.
These are all different kinds of YouTubes, and I think too much of time I spend with these kind of thing. Maybe 1 hour a day, or I think I should reduce it to something like that.
Yeah. So Suhas, I mean, I used to be in the advertising business for a long time.
Yes.
I was also in the content producing business for a long time. And let me tell you that they make money when you see them. When you use your productive time
Yes.
to watch somebody else's content, you're actually giving that guy a chance to make money on your time. Keep that in mind. That's a great decision. Ramu, can I request you to do a share, sir? Ramu? I'll unmute you.
Overthinking is which I wanted to stop at.
Okay.
And the second one is worry for future.
Okay.
The third one is accepting perfection from a team.
Yeah. Ramu, many years ago, one of my gurus told me something which made a huge impact on my life. He said, why are you trying to become an island of efficiency in an ocean of inefficiency? Why don't you move into becoming more effective rather than efficient? Get things done is far better. Okay? Unless you're in a mission critical job like an airline pilot or a doctor, or where you need 100% efficiency. Some of the things that we do in our life, if you do an audit, you'll actually be surprised that 60%, 70% efficiency is pretty good here. It's right? So maybe that's something that you can do. May I ask Jaydev, my friend Jaydev, some things that we need to do. Jaydev, will you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, thanks. So one thing that I would want to stop doing is thinking about what will happen for my future, when will I get the opportunity, because that's been lingering a lot. So first thing, I think I need to stop thinking in terms of what will happen, when will I get the next opportunity, or how soon will I get, because that's a constant thing that is ringing in my head. So at least I should stop thinking about what will happen, when will it happen, and how soon will it happen.
Absolutely. It will happen when it will happen.
Right.
Mala, I can't pronounce the name Mala, but it says Malar.
I think it is Malarvili, sir.
Malarvili. Yeah, Malarvili. Will you please, I've unmuted you, Malarvili. Will you?
Hello?
Yeah, what would you like to stop doing, Malarvili?
Yeah, I would like to stop worrying about the people, actually, what they will think about myself. I just want to do that.
Very nice. Just stop worrying about what people will think about you. Fantastic. Great. So let me go to the last point that I have on this particular slide, and then we'll open this up for a discussion. If you want to live in the now and be more mindful, you need to believe in yourself. You need to start affirming that you're doing all the above 5 points in a very joyous way. I think what kills us is an over anxiety of what is going to be the result of what we want to do. I'll share with you a unsubstantiated research. Okay. I was talking to a lot of people and found out that 60% of the time, for most executives, they're worried about plan B. In life, I don't think you should have a plan B. There's no point in having a plan B. Just focus on plan A, right? Why are you worried about creating a plan? So plan B means that you're building bridges where there is no river. Why don't you have the confidence in yourself that if you do ever come across a river in your life, you will have the ability to build that bridge as and when required? So why worry about a bridge? Why worry about a river that doesn't exist? And why start building a bridge on a river that isn't even there? So why don't we focus on what we're doing right now and not worry too much? So just keep affirming to yourself that I am going to do these 5 things in a proper way. I'm going to accept whatever is happening in my life at this point of time. And I like what Jaideep said. Stop, this is life, okay? And this is fine. I mean, this is what life is all about. Or focusing on your strengths. Do this strength audit, guys. Believe me, when you do this strength audit with your people are going to have an amazing experience with you when you actually do that strength audit. And if even if you're at home right now, do it with your kids, do it with your spouse, and you will be giving them a fantastic gift. Accept that today is the greatest day and figure out how can you take that one bite at a time. Don't try and stuff the entire burger in your mouth. You're going to get indigestion. Take that one piece of that burger and then the second piece and then the third piece and then the fourth piece and then the fifth piece, and voila. You've got everything that you need. You're going to work it out. Eat that frog. Whatever is that pending issue that is bothering you, that is worrying you, that is irritating you for a long time, that you've been postponing, that you've been pushing, eat the frog. Close it out. And finally, make a list of things that you want to stop doing from today. And you guys came up with some amazing stuff that you want to stop doing. So that's what I wanted to share with you, that if you want to be more mindful and if you want to live in the now, it's very important to do these 5 or 6 practical things. It's not very difficult at all. Of course, one of the things that you must do on a regular basis is to keep doing this, even whether there is a lockdown or there is no lockdown, it doesn't matter. All of these add up to what I call me time. And if you can spend time with yourself, you will get all the answers that you really want. I keep telling people that the best friend that you have in life is yourself. But the least amount of time that you spend with is yourself. Each of these 5 things that I talked about, acceptance, focus, make a list of things to stop, eating the frog, greatness grid, all of these will help you spend time with yourself, because I personally believe that you are the best friend that you have. And you can do a whole host of the stuff that you want.